Time for a love potion, a little sweet and spice. Throw it all in a cauldron, mix it up real nice. Fire in my eyes, stir counterclockwise. I dream of you all night. Filled with devotion, follow the signs. With this devotion, you will be all mine. I'm pulling you closer to me. You're finding it harder to breathe. The magic is taking over your mind entirely. I'm the only one that you see. I got what you want, what you need. Before you know it, you are falling in love with me. Little sweet spice. Made a love potion for you.
Welcome to the Fray Flak Pack. It's Termex here, and welcome back to another Borderlands 3 build video. And in today's build video, I'm going over my Butcher Flak build. And yes, I have been making more weapon-specific flak builds, because I feel like a lot of builds out there are pretty much the same thing. I've seen about 15 videos of people using the fish slap and the Guardian, so I'm not going to be making builds like that. I'm sorry, I don't want to post the same exact builds everyone else is posting. You'll find those other builds elsewhere. I like to keep these builds more unique and specific, and that's why I got to choose the Butcher in today's video, because I have been having so much freaking fun with this build, and I wanted to share it with you guys, and I wanted to show you guys the potential of the Butcher on flak, and the fact that it could do a crap ton of damage. Now, starting off into the Stalker skill tree, we did get the capstone, the power inside for the 50% bonus damage for 15 seconds if we are at max health when we activate our fadeaway. And we do have a bunch of other different perks such as Hidden Machine. Hidden Machine does not proc with things like Fadeaway all the time, but it will proc when we have situations such as Not My Circus, which you could run over until you are dead if that's what you prefer. Of course, we have Lick the Wounds because you got to get the perk, man. This is the ultimate flak perk. We have the Fast and the Furious. Hopefully it's not as big of a disappointment as Furious 9. I'm kidding. That's a joke. But this is going to be an amazing perk for gun damage and movement speed. We have no points into the purple tree, big shocker there. But going into the master skill tree, we went far enough to get points into Barbaric Yop, so we can boost our Great Horn Skag for the 22% gun damage and the 10% raw damage. Everything else is just to stack our Frenzies for more damage, Who Rescued Who for survivability, and 1 point into Hive Mind just so we can get some damage shared. And finally, into the Hunter skill tree, we do have the Capstone, which is Megavore for that 20% crit chance. We have our Most Dangerous Game for gun damage and crit damage, alongside Big Game for the Hunter skill duration and effects. We have Hunter's Eye for all the amazing benefits it gives. The 42% armor damage that this gives is honestly ridiculous. Anything with a green health bar is going to get melted. And we do have our Leave No Trace head count combo. Now, a lot of people are going to say, why use Leave No Trace with the Butcher? Well, Leave No Trace with the Butcher alongside Megavore is amazing. You could literally shoot the freaking shotgun for as long as you want sometimes. And on top of that, once we're hitting crits with our Hunter Seekers while shooting enemies, you never have to really reload. And as for the fadeaway setup, we do have 3-shot fadeaway with Unblinking Eye alongside Until You Are Dead for the post cloak. But since we are running Hidden Machine, sometimes I like to opt for Not My Circus if I'm doing stuff like takedowns. And over into the Guardian rank. As always, guys, my Guardian rank is turned off for all my builds. I do not use any Guardian rank perks, buffs, or stats, except for the exception of True Takedowns. During True Takedowns and the Hemovorous Raid Boss, I do have Guardian rank sacks enabled except for Groundbreaker, just so everyone is aware of that. And over into the inventory, as you guys can see, it is once again pretty basic. I do have 3 different elemental variants of the Butcher. One of them I have not yet to re-roll, but I will still include this in the PC save file. Now, traditionally, you would want to have 2 Butchers on, but most of the time, I only really use the Fire Butcher for certain content. And by that, I mean Grave Ward or anything with a red health bar, basically. I, more often than not, opt for the Shock Butcher just because I believe it's more versatile. But in terms of the anointments, we do have next to Max Corrosive because we're not going to be reloading a lot. And since we're using 3-shot fadeaway, this is going to proc basically constantly. And I just prefer next to Mags because when you're using something like the Butcher, you're not going to reload a lot, like I said. And on top of that, it helps out the Butcher tremendously because maybe I'm just an unlucky person, but I have yet to get a Corrosive Butcher to drop myself. And finally, we do have the Clockwork Res. I actually have a level 72 Res in my bank. I'm going to swap that out after I record this, so it will be a 72 Res. Not that it matters, but yes, this is just going to be our utility item for Flak. It will revive our pet, revive your teammates, yada yada. Very good on any Flak build. And we do have the Revolter with on action skill start. Why did I talk like that? And now we do have the Revolter with on action skill start, so we get that 200% shock damage and that amazing fire rate benefit every time we pop into fadeaway. We have the Hunter Seeker Grenade. Yes, I don't have level 72s yet. It's hard to get God Roll grenades. I don't know how all these other people have them already. But yes, this is going to help with our Bounty Hunter class mod with shotgun damage, Hyperion weapon crit damage, and I guess action skill cooldown rate is cool, but it's not really the most optimal that I would have wanted. Maybe weapon damage, and this would have been a God Roll class mod. But I guess the action skill cooldown isn't the worst thing in the world. And I do have the Pearl of Knowledge. No, it is not up to 72. I'm actually almost done with my playthrough, so when I get that, I'm going to try my best to save quit. I'm going to try my best to read-only farm for a perfect Pearl of Knowledge for future builds. Stay around for that. But yeah, that is basically the setup. It's very basic, and you're using a very basic weapon. And it's really fun. I'm not going to lie to you. This kind of makes the Infinity Pistol obsolete in a lot of ways, because why use an Infinity Pistol when you have an infinite shotgun that literally does way more damage, higher fire rate? It's amazing. You guys are going to see here. And just for the fact of it being a true takedown, like I said before, I am going to play with Guardian rank. And even without Guardian rank, it's still really good. And one thing you're going to have to know is throw some Hunter Seekers, pop into fadeaway. And you don't even have to aim, because it's a Hyperion weapon, and it's going to shoot really fast, and the accuracy is going to get better as you shoot it, because that is the whole gimmick when it comes to Hyperion weaponry. And as you can see, this is honestly just a walk in the park. I love the fact that, I love the sound it makes too. It almost sounds like an M1 Grand, as my friend put it, but constantly. And I can see where he's coming from when he says that. We already have our fadeaway, get the guy out of the air. Here's a badass, melted within basically seconds. And it's just such a satisfying weapon to use. You could use it from range, you could use it up close, except for barrels. Don't let barrels get you like that. Let me just take a second for you guys to listen to the bullets. So let me stop talking for a second and just listen to this. I hope they don't touch the Butcher, man, because legitimately, in my time of playing Flak, this reminds me so much of like classic Butcher from Borderlands 2, maybe with Maya, or when you were using Gunzerker and you were using two Butchers at once. That's kind of what this reminds me of, and it's so much freaking fun. I would always opt for a build that I legitimately have fun with, like, using, over a build that one-shots everything, but this kind of does both. It does a lot of damage, and it's really freaking satisfying to use. And if you are on PC and you enjoyed today's build, make sure you download it in the description below. And if that file doesn't work, make sure you check out my Discord. There is a whole section with all my build save files. And if you enjoyed today's video, please make sure you leave a like on it, as it helps me out a lot and spreads my videos more to the Borderlands 3 community. And consider subscribing if you want to join the Flak Pack. I try my best to post 3 times a week here on the YouTubes. And honestly, guys, thank you so much for the support recently. You guys have been killing it. And I hope you guys have a terrific day. And I'll see you guys later.